Hello and welcome to another production of the Single 8 Show. Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills, and your name is?
The Single 8.
And today, as we continue our conversation of journeying through your transgender journey, your personal transgender journey.
Yeah.
Wow, I wish my mouth could use words.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about driver's licenses and voters' rights.
Yep.
Today, as the SAVE Act, Save America Act tries to push through, which is nothing more than ignorant frustrations of other ways to belittle and intimidate our transgender community and to forcibly being dissolved. But as we know, that's not going to happen. So today we're going to talk about first, I know that we've talked about this on the podcast, but let's go ahead and lay out, because this is a part of this narrative.
Yes.
Let's just do a quick overview of your legal gender and name change. And the key word in what I just said, legal.
Yep.
Your identity. So please, just do a brief overview of that.
So, it's a very... as much paper as you could ever have to do. And it is... You have to put your name up in a newspaper for X amount of weeks. I'm saying X amount of weeks because it's been over a year and I don't know if the weeks are different now.
Yep.
And you have to state a reason why. Yes. You have to state that it's either you're getting married or you're getting divorced, or if you're a cis person, you want to change your name, that's because.
Yes.
If you're a trans person, you have to say it because I'm on this journey.
Yes. So let's talk. You address some things and then jump past them really quick. Let's talk about the paperwork first.
Yeah.
We had to go through our county court system and fill out paperwork requesting your change of legal identity and legal gender, and that went through different stages.
Yep.
The first stage was your petitioning to have the court look over that paperwork and approve it.
Yep.
I was in... you and GAPD worked on the paperwork together very slowly and methodically. I would say it took y'all a couple of hours to do it.
I think it, at minimum, took a 3 hours at home for sure, and then another hour once we got to where we were.
You weren't there with me.
To walk through it.
When I dropped it off, it took 3 hours there, too.
Yeah.
Because they combed through it with a fine-tooth comb, because their goal is to just send it to the judge, and for the judge to know everything's in there, to approve the beginning of the process, to prove the beginning of the process. So,
especially if we had a slightly longer process too, because we were also changing my gender marker.
Yes.
To a gender marker that doesn't exist in the federal side of things.
Yeah. But within that, one of the things that I'm trying to push through in this conversation is that the conservative right, the strong conservative right, will have you believe that all this stuff can willy-nilly happen, and you can just walk into a place as George and leave caring.
Nope.
You can't. You cannot. All of this takes time. As much as we have pushed even the transitioning journey, medical transitioning journey, it takes time. It doesn't willy-nilly happen.
It took medical journey getting QT at minimum a little bit over a year.
Or longer.
Or longer.
Yeah.
For us. Literally, whenever those conversations started in therapy about my gender. That's when it started.
Yes.
That's when, like, the steps could start leaning up to make sure that we're moving to the right place.
And your journey actually happened a long time with us before you even got to that place.
Yeah.
GAPD and I didn't wake up one day and say, okay, give him some testosterone.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole willy-nilly concept that everything gets rushed through and just happens. Please don't buy that rhetoric.
Yeah, it would very much going over things. Going over things with doctors.
Yeah.
Everyone going, yeah, that's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, before I got on T, man, was all my anxiety systems, and at the time very much depression symptoms, through the roof, and we're not good.
Yeah. So within all that, it's time. But let's get back to this paperwork stuff, because we're talking about licenses and identification, which will lead us into voting rights in a moment.
Yeah.
So, through all this legal process, we finally got the court to have an official hearing over the documentation, and that was set in stone. And at that moment was when we needed to make sure that we had a public record of your identity change.
Yeah.
Now, for years upon years, when people used to read newspapers, there was a page called the wedding announcements. Now, everybody thought this was just some kind of silly way to announce, hey, our daughter's getting married. But actually, what this wedding announcement did is that was the public notification that this person was about to change their name to their spouse's last name.
Yep.
That's how it was easily done to get that information out to the public through a wedding announcement in a newspaper. But for you, we didn't get to do that because you weren't getting married.
Yep.
So for your name change, we had to take out a listing in the I want to say want ads, but it's sort of like the public forum where people like sell lawn equipment and crap.
Yeah.
There's also this whole listing of places where people have their name changes listed in that. And that's what we had to do for you. And it had to be in there for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So that everybody would be aware of what's going on. So we have this...
And that's more money getting put towards it.
Yeah.
Getting your name changed is not a cheap thing.
Yeah.
It is not a cheap thing to do. We did take steps to make it a little bit of a cheaper thing for us to do, but it is not a cheap thing to do.
Yeah. Like some people have their lawyers put out the information, and that way they don't have to put out their home address and stuff, and people can call and contact the lawyers about all that specific information if they have a challenge or something. We had to put the whole shebang in the newspaper for your announcement.
Yeah.
So then all that was done. Then we could finally send this information out to get your legal birth certificate changed.
Yep.
And that one took a little bit more time because evidently we forgot to cross an I or dot a T or something.
Yeah.
Because we actually had to do it a couple of times.
Because on top of that, that's what the gender marker problem, I'm pretty sure, was that problem with it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the part that had a little of a problem with it, even though they did, in fact, send us the same papers.
Yeah, the exact
same papers, and I'm like, nothing had changed.
Yes.
Here you go.
I'm just assuming that we forgot to cross an I or dot a T or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it all finally worked out. But this was an extraordinarily long process. And I just want to fight this right-wing thing that they rhetoric that all is just willy nilly, and all of this is done on a whim and all that garbage. It's not.
It is not. It is done with the most exact cuts that you could do, with the most carefulest of writing. It is done like Lin-Manuel Miranda writing Hamilton.
Yeah.
It is done like someone writing a musical. It is meticulously and carefully.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting to the word that I needed.
No, for sure. So let's build on this a little further. So now what's been happening for a long time in the government is there has been this push that driver's licenses, birth certificates, and more importantly, passports have to have the birth gender on them. That's one of the first things that the Orange 47 started to do.
Let's use better language than they are using. Let's use sex assigned at birth.
Okay. It has to have the sex assigned at birth on it. And Orange 47 has been pushing at this for a while. And this was a part of a long-term game. This wasn't just making it so that individuals on a transitioning journey could not have documentation to celebrate their true selves. This was a part of a long play, because through removing the possibility of having your gender identity listed on this and being forced to have your sex assigned at birth on it has actually led to the next level, which is now that they are working on trying to make it that you have to show documentation to be able to vote.
And this will also affect, I'm not going to say the most likely, this will also most likely affect a lot of cis women. Because cis women, I'm mainly saying cis women because they change their names more often in marriages. They are the ones more likely to get their name changed. Not saying that cis men don't do it, but very much less often because of society and social structures and imaginary ding-dong that we call our society that to make it run.
Yes.
So this will affect a lot of cis women.
It absolutely
and this will affect a lot of cis women Republicans.
Well,
that
and
will,
they don't understand that either.
That will, the second they see that happen, that's when they will riot. The second, I bet this will be the moment that will get a lot of cis women Republicans to go, this is not a good thing, because this is openly affecting me if the SAVE Act goes through.
Yeah. And through that, to explain what Single H said a little bit further, your identity has to match the identity on your birth certificate. I have already read that driver's licenses, which are a state document of your identity, are not sufficient identities to use. You have to use a passport, a federal passport, and your birth certificate.
Yeah.
So,
which is annoying because that already means I'm out of the ring. It already means that I can't do it. Because my birth certificate does not match my federal passport. I don't believe they do.
No, it does. We didn't get your federal passport until after we got your
the problem
birth certificate
is
change.
With that federal passport is I do not have an M on my new birth certificate.
You have an X.
I have a Y.
It's a Y?
I'm pretty sure it's a Y.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it might be an X.
All right,
I'll have to double check.
It's not an M or an F.
It's not an M or an F. Yeah, it's an X. It's an X.
Yeah. So you're right. But can I tell you that you have more documentation than I do that would at least have you contemplating being able to vote. I don't have a passport.
Yeah, we need to get you a passport.
I need to get a passport.
We need to get you and Rick Kane a passport.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So that Joseph Mills and Rick Kane can vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm going to still let myself have hope that it will not go through.
Yeah.
But considering when we have had on the Republican side and having and rapidly seeing them wake up to everything, I am now at the point that I went from not believing it would. I went from believing it would pass into, there's a probability of it not passing.
Yeah.
Now there's a probability of it.
Because we've seen that in other areas, like through the government shutdown, where Republicans have crossed the aisle to make it possible for TSA to be funded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without funding people in costumes.
Yeah. Yeah, the people pretending to be law enforcement.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to share the point, but before I share the point, we have to have our public service announcement. That's right, friends. Avoid Orange 47. That's right, avoid Orange 47. It's just like Orange 45, but now more deadly. So here's the deal. That the through all of these governmental things that Orange 47 has been trying to do, he knew the end goal was to still the opportunity for people to have a vote in the politics for themselves. If you make it so a transgender person cannot have identification to be themselves, if you make it so that they can't have driver's licenses like they're trying to do in Kansas, and just completely taking their driver's licenses away if they don't have the gender assigned at birth, this has been the long play for them to take your voting voice away.
Yep. And let it be known, in Kansas, they got a warning the day of.
They got a warning the day of.
That is not valid time.
Yeah.
At all. That is not reasonable time at all. But we know they don't work reasonably. And truly, we have proof that I think that they don't give a fuck. I'm sorry.
You think?
This is how we obfuscate legal stuff. You have to state it as an opinion.
Allegedly.
No, you have to say I think.
And allegedly.
Yeah.
You were using a modifier.
Yeah, you have to use I think, because even allegedly makes it sound more like a fact. You have to use I think, because it's fully in a form of an opinion.
Well, I think that we could allegedly speak like I feel the president does and make these grandiose statements and just confuse everybody. I think I feel allegedly.
Yeah, but
anyway, this was a long-term goal of taking voting voices away.
Yes.
So when I read...
I'm very much at the point that I feel like I'm singing City on Fire in Sweeney Todd.
Uh-huh.
I'm at that point.
Yeah.
And no one's hearing that the city's on fire, even though you can see that it's on fire.
Yeah. Because I feel that this whole process is, when I read a right-wing person even try to take that conversation away, because when I read this narrative about IDs being needed to vote, they try to make it an immigration issue, which...
Because guess what? Everything works together. If one group gets harm, everyone does.
And, okay, that's fair. Yes, but they are trying to brush it under immigration so that that people can't see that this is going to hurt women. This is going to hurt our transgender siblings. And they try to brush it under the immigration issue, and they say the Democrats just want illegals to be able to vote so that they can steal elections. Well, that's none of this to us.
Let's be real. There's been under 100 cases of voting fraud. Under 100 cases.
Yes.
Way under, actually. It's to the point that if you know the number of the cases, that this is a terrible thing to be wasting the government time and money on.
Unless that you're trying to steal an election.
Yep.
So...
Which, honestly, and we have seen it, he has done it.
Yeah.
And now the only difference in this time around is they don't care. They don't care that the illusion's been sought. Because to the people who still live within it, there is no hole to see outside. Because they have had the hole with a little piece of newspaper to slightly cover it, and that was enough. But now, we do have that hole, and we can shatter it, and with them trying to do the election again, we do have time that we can break that bubble.
Yes.
We can get to the point, we can stop it before we get to Nazism. Even though we are already there.
We're way past that, brother.
Even though we can get it to the point that we can, from within, without power from the outside, and that they are desperately needed to help, that we can shut down the concentration camp that we currently have.
And they're here.
That we currently have. And I do have to remind you, we did have Japanese concentration camps back in World War II.
Even though that they don't want us teaching that at schools.
Yep. We are repeating history again.
Yes.
And we are using a different playbook. We stole it from someone else.
I feel that we might be using the same playbook.
Yeah, that's why I said we stole it from them.
Because...
highlighting, underlining that it was exactly the same.
Because if in my opinion, modifier, you just taught me very well. In my opinion, I think that Orange 47 just started his own Vietnam with everything that's going on in Iran.
Yeah.
So it all goes through it. I want to go back towards the voting rights again, because there's other things that Orange 47 is trying to take away, and it's not just making it so people have specific identity to vote, which may not, and from, again, all women, any individual that's gotten married, or what have you, that has had a name change, anybody that's been adopted and chose to take on their adopted family's last name, that their identification won't match. But also, he's trying to remove mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And mail-in ballots...
Which he had already mailed in.
I was getting...
Ha ha!
Yeah. And
sorry, did I beat
which
you to
that
the same?
he has done. But let's talk about further about the mail-in ballots. Let's say that you live in Idaho, which is all this expansive farm country, and you have to drive hours to be able to vote. Let's talk about our military, who are overseas because of Orange 47's war.
And the disabled people who might not be able to go to the ballot.
That don't have the physical means to make it to the ballots. All of this it's not making sure that the person that's voting, it matches the name on the piece of paper. It's all about restricting the vote in such a way that it steals an election. I am not saying allegedly, and I'm not saying I think. I am telling you, sue me. dwopodcasting@gmail.com. This is all means to take voices away and steal an election. And my real name's Mike Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we currently live in a dumpster fire. And I don't care that we live in a blue state right now. Currently, we are all in a dumpster fire. And yet, we are in a part that the fire is a little bit contained. But that doesn't change the fact in the rest of the other parts of the dumpster that the fire is still burning hot. And it's burning white. White and blue. With, fun fact, are some of the hottest flames of a fire.
Yes.
We are at that
white
point.
hot heat is intense, yes.
We are at that point in certain parts of the country that we have white hot flames.
Yes.
Even though over here we are in a place that we have red flames.
Oh, we're in some red pockets out here,
Yes.
sibling. Yeah.
That we are dealing with some red flames, at least we have it controlled enough that it's not white.
Yeah.
And currently in the parts of the country who do only have red flames, it's our job to put on our oxygen mask first and set and we'll take out the fire here. And in those motions of taking out the fire here, work in tandem for where there is white flames and help them take them down to that red and then to nothing. And then work together to heal the damage that had been done. Because the only way that we get out of it semi-stable and somewhat what we need the country to be, we have to work together to heal the damage.
Yes, we do.
And yet there are going to be people at the end of it that will say there's no damage. And it will be our job to teach them that there was and that there is damage still going. Even though it hasn't been that long, there is structural damage. We are at the point of structural damage, and it's time to start going back to the base and start picking the rest of the building up on cranes and re-pouring a base that will help the people after us. Because yes, the Constitution is doing a good job, somewhat, but it's our job to make sure that it can do its job effectively. We will have to add amendments to it after that to make sure that that doesn't happen again. We will have to add amendment to it after that. And it will be how the story goes. This is how countries will deal with it. We will have to understand that we have lost our allies. Because we have. There's literally documents and news stories showing it. We have lost our allies. And we will have to prove to them that we're not going to set them on fire like we did ourselves.
All right, I think that we've gone about as far as we should go with this. That was a Single H show for this week.
Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single H. Have a great week, y'all. Let's hang in there. That's all you have to do. Let's hang in. Be with a community that brings you joy.